1, record. Okay, here we go. Showtime. Hello, Drew. How do you do? Brent, Mumble Room. Jump in at 4.
Hello.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
Nicely done, boys. Nicely done. Okay, so get in our Matrix room and help us with a bang suggest, because we need to title this thing. We're going to be talking about network monitoring, alert detection, and things like that. So that's your hint for a good banger of a title. All right. Okay, boys, here we go. It's the Unplugged program in a 3, in a 2. Hello, friends, and welcome back to your weekly Linux talk show. My name is Chris.
My name is Wes.
And my name is Brent.
Well, hello, gentlemen. Coming up on the show this week, a simple network monitoring tool that does a lot more than just flag unknown devices. Then we're going to take things a step further, using that data to detect family presence at home and trigger automations based on that. And then we're going to round it out with some great feedback, some boosts, some picks, and a lot more. It's a big show, so before we start, let's say time-appropriate greetings to our Mumble Room.
Hello. Hey Chris, hey Wes. Hello Brian.
And Trya.
Happy New Year.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
That's a strong crowd.
Got a good group up there and quiet listening too. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Happy 2026. Can you believe it? It's our first episode. We're back, and I spent the holiday season building out the home lab, and I'm going to share just the tip of the iceberg this week. So let's start by saying good morning to our friends over at Defined Networking. Go check out Manage Nebula at defined.net/unplug. This is a decentralized VPN that's like no other. It's built on the Nebula project, which we trust. It's fully open, been around since 2017. Something you can really look at, go through, self-host the whole shebang from top to bottom. And I think this is something that I like to emphasize at this moment because it really makes Nebula stand out. Their free tier isn't competing with some other product that's going to eat away at their business. They're not trying to just do a sales funnel thing here. In fact, you could completely self-host all of the infrastructure. What's nice about the managed Nebula from Defined Networking is they take care of a lot of the infrastructure for you. But at any point, you can swap back and forth. You own the network, the identity, the routing, the control. It all stays with you, not a third-party control plane that you don't actually control. And Nebula's decentralized design means that there is no single point of failure. And not everybody accomplishes this, let me tell you from firsthand experience. And if you want to self-host the Lighthouse so that way you can do all of the node discovery, all of that is under your control, you absolutely can. Or hit the easy button and check out Manage Nebula. And you can get 100 hosts for free when you go to defined.net/unplug. No credit card required, no lock-in. Just a fantastic open source product turned into a package that's easy for you to use. Defined.net/unplug. Support the show. Go say good morning and check them out. And thank you to Defined.net for sponsoring the Unplugged program. Now, just a touch of housekeeping to let you know about. Scale and Planet Nix are just around the corner. And Planet Nix's call for proposals closes January 15th. So get them in.
Yeah, let's see, 11 days from when we record.
You gonna do one? You thinking about one? I mean, you could just kind of, there's so many things you tinker with. You could probably come up with a talk pretty quick.
Well, now you've suggested it, so now I have to consider it.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Well, see, the only trade-off is always, there's so much stuff we're always trying to do. In the short time that we're there's a lot of nicks to take in, you got to balance it.
That is true. Yeah, the event will have 2 parallel tracks that take place over 2 days. Speakers can submit proposals for talks or workshops or both. And each day they're going to have a mix of both talks and workshops, and these are pretty awesome.
Because, sometimes what's happened before is someone from our excellent audience is given a talk at the same time my talk is at.
That is true. That's rough. So we're talking March 5th through the 6th at Pasadena. You will want, the way that this works is you're going to want to register for Scale, and that gets you into Planet Nix. I'm hoping next week we'll have a promo code for you that'll take a nice little chunk of that registration off. We don't have it yet just because it's the holidays and they're just getting back to work. But it's my expectation that we'll have one for you soon, and then you can sign up, you get a nice chunk off. And if you can make it to Planet Nix or just Scale on the weekend, we'd love to see you there. We actually don't have it locked in that we're going to be there, so at this moment in time, don't base your travel plans on us. Base it on Scale. And if we can make it work, if we can find somebody to help us get there and cover Planet Nix and Scale, then we are going to go with bells on. But that isn't locked in yet.
Declarative bells.
But it is an event we strongly recommend, both Planet Nix and Scale itself. And what's really great is this combo is at the same venue. There's some overlap there, so you can just kind of bang it all out at once and dip in from all in. It's just great. It's a really nice setup.
You get like a talk about Ubuntu server, you get into Nix talk, you go learn more about Postgres, all in the same day.
Go out to, lunch. There's always, if you want to socialize, there's always opportunities. If you don't want to socialize, you don't have to. You can just be heads down and learn. It works for both the introvert and the extrovert. Or if the introvert wants to flex their extrovert muscles for a couple days, works for that too. So check it out. We'll have a link, Planet Nix 2026, March 5th through the 6th in Pasadena Convention Center. Don't miss it. Gentlemen, if you'll indulge me, I'd love to tell you about my Net Alert X setup. Now, this is a network intruder and presence detector that scans for devices that are connected to your network and then alerts you if a new or unknown device is discovered. It's kind of handy, especially if you live in a neighborhood where people might be scanning Wi-Fi or, you're just a little concerned. And it's not like a typical dashboard that you stare at. What it is it's building a memory of your network. This is all local first. It's all self-hosted. It's open source. There's no account you have to create. There's no SAS brain processing it. There's no telemetry. Your network is essentially, the way the design of Network X is your network is a fluid moving thing where things change, new things update and ports open, hopefully not a lot, but over the course of a year, these things happen. And the idea is that Network X will use multiple different network discovery methods. So not just like dumb pings, but all kinds of different methods. And there's a lot of plugins to enable different kinds and get an understanding of, okay, this device went from this IP to this IP. This device has been on your network for this amount of time. And you can go in there and you can assign devices to people. There's a dashboard to help you do some of that if you want.
I'm interested to see that. Like you bring up this memory aspect because I got it set up, but
you did?
I did, yeah. I was able to just get it pull it in as a container and have it just run as a OCI container on NixOS pretty easily.
Aha.
So we can have the basic config I'm using for that linked. But I've only just started, so I've got the initial setup of the devices that I've found, but I haven't used it long enough to see really things evolve yet.
Right, because initially everything's like new, everything that gets detected as new and whatnot. It will also, as it learns more about your network, it'll start to kind of visualize what's connected to what node and kind of give you a rough layout of your network, which is fun.
That's exciting.
And it's one of those things where you could put very little into it if you want to know when things change, or you can put more into it and you can tell this device is owned by this user and it's connected to this device. And a lot of times, using MAC address lookup and whatnot, it'll identify the device and the manufacturer, and it can categorize TV set-top boxes, Wi-Fi access points, smart plugs, PCs, tablets. It can figure a lot of that out on its own. And then in a very kind of Pi-hole style dashboard, at the top, it gives you how many devices are on your network, how many new devices, how many devices are down. It's like, I almost wonder if the dashboard UI isn't actually forked from Pi-hole. But it works. It's nice. And you have that to look at, and you could never take it any further than that. You could then, if you wanted to, you could hook it up to, say, Telegram notifications. I hooked it up to Notify or NTFY. And so when a new device that is unknown on my network shows up, I get a Notify message sent to my phones to tell me about that. And the thing, when you add the plugins, it really starts to get very, very powerful. Because if you have special devices on your network, or say you want to integrate Home Assistant, or you want to do these other things, like I mentioned Pi-hole, they have plugins for this. And so one of the sources of truth for my Network Alert X system is my Pi-hole via the API. This is one of the plugins. And what's so powerful here is now Net Alert X is in sync with my DHCP and DNS server. So when I issue a new client lease, or client lease expires, or a new DNS name shows up, the two are in simpatico. They know about it. And that kind of coordination, so nice.
I just took a look and there's 45 available plugins.
Yeah. Any that jump out to you in particular? For me, I ended up using one of the MQTT plugins, obviously, but yeah, you know what I didn't see was a Tectidium
No,
plugin,
I was taking a look at what it would take to make one.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely an API, so I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of Pi-hole and Pi-hole API. There's specific support for pulling data out of Unify. If you have Unify systems on there, I think some Microtech stuff as well. There's a lot of potential.
Tiny in the chat room noticed there's a Prometheus endpoint, so you can have long-term retention of your data as well, and just tie it into some of your existing alerting workflow if that's your thing. So it sounds like pretty mature considering.
And I feel like it's already appliance level. You just set it up, and it does its working. It alerts me. And then using MQTT, I'm populating Home Assistant as well, so Home Assistant's aware of some of these things. But what I like about it is it's event-driven, so it alerts, it logs, it feeds automations automatically. And you could think of it also as a bit of an event bus. So it has these different plugins like Notify and Home Assistant and MQTT and Prometheus and others, where it's helping them stay current and up to date. When they rely on network state information, this helps them with that. Like, did that speaker IP address change? Things like that. And it assumes that you might have a bit of a messy home lab. It's not a perfect network from the start. And it assumes there's going to be random ESP devices and things like that it's going to need to figure out. Like, it goes in with that mindset. And then you have, once you're done, and it only takes you 20 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on your comfortability with Docker Compose and your network layout, you have something that tattles when your kids have a friend show up and they put their device on the Wi-Fi network. You know about it. It's that I love.
I was impressed. It was very easy to get started working. It is containerized, so that's nice. You do need to put it in host networking, right?
That helps a lot. Yeah.
Kind of obviously makes sense. And I did do some poking around to look. There's a lot of Python, so I gave it a quick stab just as see if I could get it building with Nix. There's a little too much going on.
Oh yeah,
for me to think it was worth it in time for the show, but it would definitely be possible.
Container round's probably
so the container route I thought was easiest. But that said, I mean, it totally worked, and all I really had to do before it was actually to get to minimum viable useful was just go in the settings and make sure it was scanning the right networks I actually cared about. Because by default, it just wanted to scan was the local container network.
Ah, yeah, sure.
So I just had to go say oh yeah, well this one it could see my local LAN, just tell it oh yeah, here's what you should go scan.
That's the one you care about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But even out of the box, it auto detected what the internet connection was and a few things. So.
I think you're muted, Brentley. You muted over there?
NetAlert X sounds really amazing from an observation and alerting standpoint, but I'm curious what happens next. Okay, you get alerted. Does it have the means of, tying into some ways of blocking some of these hosts or making some decisions or helping you automate some security? Did you get that far?
That is the key question, right? Is now that you have this data, what do you do with it? Besides, it is nice getting an alert on my phone. Oh, something new's on my network. And there is something nice I know other commercial products can do that, but I'm not using a commercial product. Nothing's leaving my private LAN or my mesh net. It's all getting processed locally. And the alerting even and the push notifications are all also happening locally.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? It is something you might get with a fancier sort of, I bought this commercial provider that just provides all of my network and routing and Wi-Fi all in one thing, and it has this fancy, analytics for me. You get a little bit more of that. Mm-hmm. And especially for you, right, you're kind of tying together the DNS side or the DHCP side kind of gives you one picture, but it's never really the complete picture. There might be devices that aren't doing that, have hard-coded things that just skip some of that setup. Yeah. And having something that can do active ARP and even Nmap scans gives you a lot more capabilities to kind of fill in the blanks.
But, Brent brings up a great point. It's once you do have this information, could you take greater action on it? And I actually think that's where it gets really powerful. You could stop right here and just have really easy network observability and an easy way to alert yourself when something happens. But why not take that data and take proactive action based on it? And that's, I think, where it really gets powerful. We only have one sponsor. So everybody go to joincrowdhealth.com. Joincrowdhealth.com.
I wasn't there.
Everybody go. And check it out. Click on click on something.
There's a how it works. That's a good one.
Click on how it works.
Talk to an expert if you actually want to talk to somebody.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe after you finish the episode, I don't know. Or pause. That works too.
They have a webinar in 4 days, huh? That could be worth, if you're curious about it, that could be worth, my thing blocks it. But that could be worth considering In 4 days, interesting doesn't show up in the capture. In 4 days, 6 hours, 8 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. Do, 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 do. How's our chat room doing? Have we got any bang suggestals as we've gone along? Have we? Anybody? No? Oh, that's really? Oh, that's bad, boys. That's bad. That's bad. Oh, that's bad. Whoa. Whoa. All right, who wants to set me up for this? There's a little bit to it. Brent, you kind of kicked it off.
And you got dulcet tones.
That's true.
I mean, I'm happy to.
That sounds like Wes doesn't want to take it. Yeah, I mean, I could just reiterate the question and launch us into it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking here for a second. Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Okay.
Because you could also say something like you mentioned Home Assistant and I mentioned taking action. Like there's maybe, that's the angle.
You left us hanging on what'd you connect it to?
Yeah. Okay. You ready? Here we go.
Chris, given you were playing with this over the holidays, and I imagine that means you were in Lady Jupes, and Jupes is pretty much completely run by Home Assistant. Is that one of the ways that you're triggering some actions based on this information?
It is, and I love the power of this. So let me give you just a quick diversion, if you will, boys, a quick story, and that is I wanted to refine the home and away automations. My goal was to trigger automations when the home is empty or if someone arrives home. And so, for example, maybe turn off our water pump so we don't have a water leak, turn off the lights, turn the heat down, arm and disarm the cameras, big one. And some of this I had in different dispersed automations where they came up with their own solutions to figure out this state. And some of it I didn't have figured out beyond using just like crappy scripts and whatnot. And then, of course, I wanted the ability to turn the lights on when we return home, turn the cameras off so they're not recording when we return home, when we enter the RV. And then also, ideally, start warming it up. So maybe even have like a 5-mile radius zone. When we enter that, when we haven't been in that 5-mile radius zone all day and we enter that, start heating again. And the complications in this are a little bit trickier than a standard home. Number one, Jupes moves, so it can't just be based on location. That's gonna break.
You just like to make things difficult,
and that kind of breakage sucks because it's the exact kind you forget you set up in the first place. You know, and then you go out on a trip, and you're like, oh, why isn't it? Oh my God!
It needs to be dynamic to take that into account from the start.
Yeah, and I have made much work towards getting Jupes location aware. So that can't do that. Can't be just Wi-Fi SSD. Because every now and then our home internet gets crappy, so we turn off the Wi-Fi on our phones or something. So you can't just be, well, if they're on the Wi-Fi, which would be another easy one if that works for you. And Apple has this technology called iBeacon. Ironically, I can't use it with Home Assistant and iPhones. You can with Android. So you could do like something like Bluetooth presence awareness, but I can't because my kids are on iPhones and the wife. So I needed a way to do all of this presence awareness. And my wife and I are the only ones with the Home Assistant apps. The kids don't have the Home Assistant apps on their phones. So I needed something that even accounted for, say, we go for a walk around the property, but the kids are still home in the morning. I don't want the system to shut off on them.
Totally.
I need to know they're home. Well, this is where NetAlert X comes in. Because NetAlert X supports MQTT and Home Assistant integration. And it can supply a collection of stats, such as the number of devices that are online, to Home Assistant. And then in Home Assistant, with a little bit of work, you can turn on presence awareness and then assign them to persons. So I can say, when this device is on the network, consider this person home. It's real easy to do in Home Assistant. And the beautiful thing about this is their IPs can change, etc., but it's still associated to them, and it knows when they're on the network or not. And it's supplying Home Assistant with a home or not kind of status. Very powerful. And there is a NetAlert X dashboard to like assign, okay, this is, my kid's device, this is my wife's device. So you can kind of sort all of that out ahead of time.
And then that gets auto exposed, I think you said via MQTT.
Yeah.
And then that's what sort of sorts it through Home Assistant.
I finally broke down.
Yeah. I mean, you're kind of burying the lead here.
Yeah. I have avoided this since I've Home Assistant set up since the very beginning. So many things want to use MQTT.
You're a broker bro now.
But it's the native way that NetAlert X communicates with Home Assistant. And because it's an event-driven system, they're just perfect for each other. And the moment a device is detected, it shoots it off over MQTT to Home Assistant. Home Assistant is running the Mosquito MQTT broker and immediately is aware of a state change. It's just instant. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so is that like a plugin you just added from Home Assistant for this one? Yeah.
Yeah. You could run MQTT server on anything, right? I could run Mosquito on anything, but there is just a real easy add-on that integrates it all. And if you use Home Assistant's add-on, then it uses the Home Assistant authentication. Because a lot of MQTT brokers now, you have to authenticate to, and you have to go set up user accounts for. But if you use the Home Assistant add-on, it'll just use your local Home Assistant user database. And so, yeah, that is a convenience. So you set that up and let NetAlertX auto-discover all your devices. They all then populate in Home Assistant as NetAlertX discovers them. You set up you don't even have to create a user account in Home Assistant. There's a difference between a user account and a person. You create a person. Then you add this device that's now being monitored by NetAlertX to their person. And then Home Assistant, when that shows them online, considers them home. And you can create all kinds of automations based on this because it consolidates it all down into your zone.home or whatever it might be called. And this just ends up being a counter of X amount of people home. So there's a default sensor, essentially, in Home Assistant that aggregates down the data of who's home into just a number. 1 person home, 5 people home.
Nice. And then you can use that for even more downstream stuff.
Yes.
Oh, that's so great.
It is so wonderful and seamless, especially if you do a few niceties like in your automation. Maybe you add a 5-minute delay. So when people leave, you wait 5 minutes just in case there's like somebody dropping off for a bit and they come back. And when you do that, it's so seamless to the family. Every time they show up, and right, it's dark. Every time they show up, all the lights are on for them. The heat's been coming on. It's the water, like they don't even know the water's off while they're gone, right? Nobody even knows. It's all seamless to them. And
ideally, they never have to know.
They don't have to worry. Like as soon as they come home, the camera's shut off, so they're not getting recorded, and I'm not getting a bunch of alerts. And because Home Assistant knows people are home or not, I can also I can say for notifications, I can say, don't alert me on these things when someone's home.
Oh, that is a nice extra detail to set as a flag, right?
Yeah.
I do not need to care about these things.
Oh, it's so great, Wes. It's so great.
We're not in yellow alert mode.
No, we don't need to. We don't need to be in armed mode, essentially. And there is actually, boys, an even easier way to do this. If you didn't want NetAlertX at all, but you still wanted all of this fancy presence awareness I'm talking about, step 1, set your clients to use a reserved address or set a static address for them. Remember, iPhones, some Androids, they rotate their MAC address. You can go into the Wi-Fi settings for that particular AP. You can turn that off or set it to just a fixed MAC address that it generates. And once you have your family devices or your own devices, whoever it might be, on static IPs, the ones you want to track for awareness, there's actually a very simple ping integration that comes built into Home Assistant. You don't have to install anything, no MQTT, no additional NetAlertX, no crazy community add-ons. It's just built into Home Assistant integration called ping. And when you add it, it asks for the host IP that you want to ping or the name. And when the ping succeeds, Home Assistant considers that device home. And when the ping fails, Home Assistant considers that device gone.
That is pretty simple and easy.
Yep. And you can go into entities in there and you can, if you filter on disabled entities, you can actually turn on the device state tracker setting for the ping integration devices. And then boom, you add them to your persons. And now it's very simple. It's very rudimentary. But if all you need is just to be able to ping their device and their IP doesn't change, you essentially get presence awareness and you can base all the automations around that, which is something that simple.
And then maybe sub it out later if you need to.
Yeah, it's so nice, right? Because you could then later go to NetAlertX and go a lot more sophisticated and do other kinds of things. But simple ping integration could do it.
Now, did you consider like an embedded Bluetooth tracker in yourself?
Well, I did actually originally try to go the Bluetooth route. That felt just more passive. Plus, then it wouldn't need the network monitoring infrastructure, right?
Because you could add a whole biohacking angle to this. And
that's true. Just put it in my arm. Or you don't need to. Everybody's walking around with phones and, Bluetooth devices. And there is an ESP presence firmware project, I think, based on ESP Home that you can flash on an ESP. And then they're basically little Bluetooth monitoring nodes that you connect to Home Assistant. And it even is it can even track the signal strength, essentially giving you what room they're in,
right?
Based on monitoring the other one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, that is neat.
That is neat, right? And you don't really have to do anything else other than just walk around with something that got Bluetooth. So I thought about that. In fact, I kind of wanted to put this out to the audience and ask them other ways to do this, because I believe there's also hardware sensors, like millimeter wave hardware sensors you could do this with. You could probably do this with motion sensors. I like the network monitoring approach. This is working for us because it solves a couple of edge cases, but I wonder if I supplemented it with another type of presence awareness, like a sensor of some kind, if I could make this even better. And so I'm putting the question out there to anybody in the audience, boost in to let me know if you've solved presence awareness in another way with a hardware detection of some kind or motion sensors, something I could add to this to kind of really refine and make sure no one is in the RV, not even a guest or anybody, right? Because that could be the edge case is a guest of somebody is over that I don't know about, and for some reason they get left in the RV, or maybe they're over house. I don't know why. I mean, then they wouldn't have water and lights and heat. So I got to figure these edge cases out. So boost in and let me know if you have a way to solve that, or go to linuxunplugged.com/contact and tell me how you're doing it. Because right now, I think that could be the gotcha, and maybe I'm missing other edge cases too you could tell me about. But I'm really happy with the results. Well, we don't have a sponsor here. But if anybody out there would like to sponsor the Unplugged program, we are in the process of finalizing ad deals for Q1. Email me, chris@jupiterbroadcasting.com. Best audience out there. Really great audience. And we can speak from some authority on the topic. So let me know, chris@jupiterbroadcasting.com. I'd love to have somebody from the community sponsor the show. Wouldn't that be nice? That'd be really nice.
That would be wonderful.
Kind of give it back. All right, so when we come back, we have feedback from Ollie Mike that I would like to read. Now, it might be worth a pre-read. I don't know. Could be worth a pre-read.
Yeah, I looked at it already.
Okay.
I've got thoughts.
Samesies.
Okay, good. All right. Brentley, would you like to read it?
Yeah. I'll give it a quick read.
Yeah, you read. Yeah. Okay. All right. I got junk in my trunk. All right, boys. Here we go. In 3, in 2. I mean,
you have a frunk now.
Yeah, it is my frunk. You're right, because it's my throat. It's junk in my frunk. That is no good. Thank you.
Man frunk.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a big fan of the frunk. Actually, I'm a big fan of the frunk. All right, here we go. In a 3, in a 2.
Well, our dear Olympia Mike writes in with, I think, a rather big question here. Guys, I need your help. The next project is getting more and more attention and adoption, which is great. However, the question of how this project is licensed keeps coming up. I'll admit I'm a developer, not a lawyer, so I'd never paid too much attention to licenses and the nuances between them. I was just kind of assumed there was some proprietary or open license. I have people telling me, go MIT or unlicensed as it helps with adoption. But then I have other people telling me you absolutely should go GPL. And others saying, well, use anything except GPL. On top of all of that, what can I even license in this project? It's mostly just Nix configs with some scripts. However, I am working on some Python and GTK apps to pair with it. Still, Nixbook relies on other projects to work almost entirely. I know you guys always mention how a project is licensed when you do the picks, and I guess it's a pretty boring topic, perhaps, but can you all shed some light on the differences and what a project like Nixbook should be under? Licenses feel like one of those super important topics we should care about, and yet few people really understand them, so help.
This is a big question, boys. And, you know, Olympia Mike's been working on this project for a while. We've watched it grow. It's really neat to see the way that these reclaimed, refurbished, you know, notebooks can be turned into systems for people that they still get. I mean, I'm using one still myself. It's really awesome. And it's a big question that I think really impacts perhaps future adoption the most, and how these things get shared is how I look at it. So I think that's the big consideration. What do you think, Wes? Am I missing something there?
Well, there's also, like, as the Genesis and chief maintainer, one way to think about this is, you know, from Mike's perspective, like what are you worried about? What are you trying to protect for yourself and for downstream users or people who might want to either use the project directly or use the code? And so one thing you check out is choosealicense.com. They've kind of got like a nice little, it's not like everything that, it's not going to answer the question for you, but it kind of gives you some ways to look at the problem, and it's a decent starting point. If you think about sort of MIT versus GPL as representative of the largest difference in terms of like, do you go with a copyleft license like the GPL, or do you go with an open source license that is more on the permissive side, like a BSD kind of license or MIT? There's more nuances there, but just to start with, I think if you're making, one way to think about it is like if you're making like a library for a programming language, I'm going to make this utility that, does X, it computes things, it draws a triangle, whatever. And you want that to be widely adopted. You want that just to be used by anyone. You want to make it easy to use yourself, maybe in contracting work, or just like to bring it into whatever person you're working for without having to worry about it. Then a permissive license makes all of that super easy, simple. So I think it does get used a lot for those kinds of things. For an end user application, or especially I would argue something that you think of maybe as like a commons application, like something like LibreOffice, where it's like, this is something you want people to have sort of by default as people who, are using computers. They should have a way to use this. It should be theirs. That's where something like the GPL makes more sense. Now, you might worry, one thing to consider then is, do you want people to be able to make proprietary things and not share the code, right? They can sell GPL code, they can stuff, but you have to provide the source along with it. So are you okay imposing that on people downstream? Are you more concerned about the rights to have code for anybody using a Nixbook derivative, or are you more worried about enabling people to build the next Chrome OS competitor or whatever?
Right. I was, to kind of double down on what you're saying there. It's like, do you want this to be a reference platform? Do you want this to be something the community takes over and builds on for you, and then you kind of take a supervisor role? Do you want it resistant to capture maybe? They're also, is it worth considering a split licensing, like MIT for the configs and GPL 3 for apps that are created that are maybe like Python GTK apps and stuff like that? Brent, do you have thoughts on this question?
Well, I think one of the things that becomes obvious here is don't rush into a license. Just because people are asking for it doesn't necessarily mean you have to choose one today. Make an informed decision because you're going to be living with it for a while if you choose certain licenses. That said, your community has a huge amount of input, right? These are the people that are wanting to work with your code or maybe wanting to use your project, but they need some kind of license to make sure that it fits into their goals as well. Maybe one of the best ways to do it is go chat with other open source developers of projects that you use and love, or even some that are part of the Nixbook project, maybe upstream, and see what their advice is. They have more experience with this than most of us do, and that would be likely a good place to start and start a good discussion.
Yeah, I think, too, something maybe worth considering is this isn't really an open versus closed, because you could make an argument for MIT or GPL. I think both camps are right. So I think maybe the way to frame this, Mike, and then take your decisions from there would be who benefits if this project becomes more successful down the road, and who would benefit more than I expected. And just think about that and think about who you want to contribute. And I think that's the essence of what you have to get to make your decision on the license, because it's a hard choice to make. And I'd say both groups are technically right. And I do like the idea of chatting with some other Nix folks, because a lot of this is based on Nix, right? So I think that's a great idea too. Good question. And there is an active discussion happening on GitHub, right? So we'll put a link in the show notes if people out there want to jump in and help them think about this. It's a hard choice to make.
And I will also say, not to take away from that, but just also, whichever way you go, it won't be the end of the world. Like, it's still going to be open source. And almost some of this is academic to the folks who, at least at the start, are even just using it and benefiting it at the end of the day.
It is academic to the end users.
I mean, it is important. It is very important, but just, it's not, even if ultimately you came to a conclusion that you viewed wasn't quite optimal in 3 years, the consequences aren't going to be the end of the world.
Also, congratulations. Because once people start pestering you about the license, that means you have reached a certain level of success in adoption where it matters now. So, congrats, Mike.
So true.
Amen.
Yeah.
And now it is time for Le Boost.
Well, boys, I'll start us off with our baller booster this week, and it is our podcast. He's back. Get ready for this, gentlemen. Brace yourselves. 850,000 sats. Thank you, Eric. He says, hello, Chris, Wes, and Brent. Here's a little virtual stocking stuffer for my favorite Linux podcast. This boost is a little way for me to share the immense value LUP and self-hosted have provided me in my journey in self-hosting on my home server, powered by NixOS.
Oh, yeah.
One of these days, I'll get Boosty Light going as my next achievement. That's great. Bonus
requirement.
My wife's laptop, which is a Dell XPS 137390, is now running NixOS with Plasma, and she doesn't hate it.
Sounds like a win.
That is a win. That is a win. I heard an opposite story over the holidays, and they tried to get the significant other on Linux desktop and did not go well. So,
oh no,
not hating it is a definite win. Thank you, Eric. We really, really appreciate that. It's a great way to start the new year and a great way to start our first episode of the new year. Thank you, sir.
Thumbs comes in with 333,200 sats.
What?
I hoard that which your
Are you
kind
serious?
covet.
Not bad either, boys. Thank you, Thumbs.
A long time, no boost. Still trying my best to get caught up on episodes, but there's so much amazing content in the members feed that it takes a while.
Yeah, if you fall behind on the bootleg, yeah.
Even at 2x speed.
It's a lot, yeah.
I wanted to bring some holiday cheer to the team. Thanks for all that you do every week to provide content that's not only educational, but entertaining.
Also, a special
kind
shout out
praise,
to
thank
Thumbs, because Thumbs had to go through a bit of a process because we had liquidity issues on my node and Brent's node, and he worked with me over email, and I really appreciate him taking the extra time just to do the one-on-one. So thank you, Thumbs.
That is some lightning love.
That is. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Well, we have a Kangaroo Paradox here with a massive Mick boost to that 200. What? That's a lot of twos. A lot of twos, basically. 6 twos.
There you go.
222,222 sats.
This old duck still got it.
Wow. Thank you, Kangaroo.
Kangaroo says, I love hearing about the JB community setups. I hope you guys revisit this content sometime in the future. Keep those home labs coming. This episode and the Nix configs were some of my favorite episodes as of late.
Aww.
Enjoy the holidays, and thanks for all that value.
I'm glad you enjoy it because I really like seeing people setups and configs too. And I thought about it. What if, and this would be the only time I think we ever do this, but I have a crazy idea. And I know I always say this and we never do it, but what if we did a mid-year home lab just so that way we could work the kinks out one more time. And that way when we go to do it in the winter, we've really got it figured out. Because part of the issue is we learn by doing and we do it once a year. And so that was our first go at it. And what we learned afterwards is, we should have had the audience rate some of these and rank some of these because it became an emotional chore of unbelievable proportions because we loved every single one of them.
How do you pick the jewels out of a stack of all jewels?
It was like not the problem we expected to have, and it was very hard. And we wanted all of them to be winners, and we still felt like, can we do more? Because we want to feature some that didn't make it on air because they're just so great. And so what we realized is we need to come up with a way for the audience to vote on them and be able to review them. And I'd like to just work the kinks out one more time. So I don't know. Maybe we could talk ourselves into doing an extra, but we'll see. Thank you, Kangaroo. I really appreciate the signal on those episodes. It's good for us to hear that too. Gives us a solid direction to go. Well, look at this gentleman. The dude abides is back with 252,777 sats. Wow. How about that? Thank you, sir. That is amazing. Really appreciate that. He writes, it seems that Fountain was having some troubles. Yeah, we were having troubles over the weekend. So I'm sending the rest via my Albi hub. Isn't it nice having your own self-hosted backup route?
And so that is, in fact, why we should have flipped the last two in terms of proper boosts, ball of boost count here, but I kind of had to hand aggregate.
Coming in with the hand math.
Uh-huh.
It's all right, Wes. We appreciate that. He says, thanks for featuring my rack. I enjoyed the Home Lab episode. I didn't think I'd win the boosties since I'm already a member. I'll pass the gift to someone else. I'm already talking to Hybrid Sarcasm, and we'll let you know probably next week.
What?
Happy 2026.
Wow.
Look at that initiative. Appreciate that.
Amazing.
And they're going to gift it to somebody else. That's really cool. And can you believe the dude won the boosties and he's also already a member? Thank you, the dude abides.
That's a lot of support.
Appreciate that.
Pab comes in with 33,333 sats. Here's my prediction. Act 1. PC component prices keep hiking.
Oh, no.
Personal computers become prohibitively expensive.
Oh.
Act 2. The cloud is the only way to access decent processing power, and the companies hoarding hardware for AI become the obvious providers. Act 3. The Microsoft 365 link model takes off. AI companies finally become profitable, and personal computing is officially a thing of the past.
No.
Maybe not for 2026, but who knows? Let's hope never. Happy holidays.
Wow, yeah, happy holidays to you too there, buddy. Thanks, Pap.
Well, it's a reminder of what we fight for on the show.
It is.
Which is not that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm really feeling like I missed the boat by not building my home lab server last year.
That's super dark.
It is dark. It is dark. Hello, Neil.
Also, hi.
Hello, Neil. Hello. I hope that I'm hopeful that somebody comes along and says we're going to get in the RAM game, and they get supply ramped up at least by the end of 2026. But
I mean, I wound up panic buying a desktop because of this.
I wonder how many others have. Yeah, because right now, it's one of the best ways to get a machine with RAM is just to buy a pre-built one.
Yeah, well, I mean, the last time I did this was 10 years ago, and it was because of the hard drives are flooded, and I want the hard drive manufacturer.
I remember that.
Out, right, and it took 3 years for them to recover from that. And so I wound up buying a pre-built desktop PC last time too. So I don't get to win here. I mean, on this, at least this time around, I actually managed to get right now with a lot of the inventory that's still left from pre-insanity.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a pretty good deal. I got one where the desktop came with an NVIDIA 5090, has 64 gigs of RAM, and 4 terabytes of total NVMe storage.
All right,
for $5,000.
Yeah,
with a Ryzen 9 9500 9550 X3D or something like that.
Storage alone's like $1,200 right now. That amount of storage.
Right, I know, right? I was like, geez, between the RAM and the storage, the computer paid for itself.
Yeah, crazy. Good.
And then the CPU just adds a cherry on top. And it's just, I mean, the computer's going to come with Windows, of course, because duh, that's what happens with these things. But at least it's a reasonably powerful computer. It's made, the design of the computer is that the parts internally are not proprietary and they're easily replaceable. So that means I did not buy a Dell. And it'll be fine, right? I also don't really mess around with the desktop once I have it for a long time. And it's been time for a while for me to buy a new computer. It's just, I hate buying computers.
Yeah, I agree.
I really, really do.
I hate building them. That's just how it goes.
All right.
Good news. Hybrid Sarcasm says Gene Bean is the one getting the JB party.
No way, really? That's great. I love to hear that.
Nice.
That's great. Thank you for the update, Hybrid. All right, take PJ over there, Mr. West Payne.
Oh, yep. The one, the only producer animated. Jeff comes in with 22,222 sats.
This old duck still got it.
All you home labbers are far more creative than I. Love to hear about it. Thanks.
That's not true. That's not true.
Jeff is very creative.
Jeff was the only one whose home lab is also attached to his media center PC, I believe, right? Maybe, as far as I know, is the only one. So that's pretty creative. That's a creative reuse of hardware right there, I say. I'm impressed.
I do that too. My media center PC is also partly where my home lab exists. Because it's my most powerful computer. Where else would I put it?
Well, Tomato boosted in with a row of McDucks, 22,222 sets. Happy New Year, lads. Thank you for a great year of programming on Linux Unplugged. Lup is at the top of my queue when an episode comes out, and your quote-unquote worst episodes are still among my favorite podcast episodes this year.
Oh.
Here's to a 2026 full of independent Linux and open source content.
Wait a minute. We have bad episodes now? Is that what I'm... Uh-oh. I guess nobody ever boosts in and says bad episode, do they? Well, actually, they do.
I mean, sometimes they do. But I think the good and bad is subjective, right? There are definitely topics that you've had last year where I think people were not happy that you were talking about them, right?
All right, we got to keep moving. You're slowing us down, Neil. You're slowing us down. We got to keep going. We got to keep going.
You're going too fast.
Shabby Analyst comes in with 9,811 sats. Says cheers to the new year and thanks for the great shows. Thank you. Thank you also to Tomato. Appreciate that. Oh, look, boys. Look who's back. It's been a minute. AA Ron's here. AA Ron. With a row of ducks. Says my New Year's resolution is going to be the year of Nixoa.
Nice.
As a DevOps engineer, it's everything I want out of an operating system. But I've been too afraid to really deep dive into it. I'm currently in the middle of installing it on my daily driver with a heavy influence from configs from the confessions episode. Me too. I was actually just referring back to that this weekend. So, he says Happy New Year as well.
Yeah, maybe go join the Nick's Nerds Matrix chat if you want to, if you're not in there.
Great advice.
And let us know how it goes.
Following examples helps a lot, too. It really does. All right, you want to take SWAT there, Mr. Payne?
Oh, yeah, SWAT comes in with 5,874 sats.
Oh my god, this drawer is filled with Fruit Loops!
Cleaning out my Fountain app wallet, since I cannot seem to export or import or backup and restore the app with wallet and settings.
Uh-oh.
I'm moving to the new Fairphone 6.
Ooh.
Well, I'll tell you what. I guess you don't have it yet, but the beta UI for the new Fountain wallet has a secret thing in there that I can't tell you about yet, but it also has a totally revamped import-export transact UI. Really nice. But whenever you send us your sats, we appreciate it. Thank you for thinking of us, and good luck with the Fairphone. Would love to have a report on that. Always curious about Fairphone. Fairphone 6. Not the 5.
Get it right.
Not the 5. It's the 6.
Well, Marcel boosted in a total of 19,232 sats across 2 boots.
Hey!
Just pump the brakes right there.
Wait a minute there. Thank you, Marcel. It's good to hear from you. Let's hear it.
Well, let's hear it, good buddy.
Marcel says, hope you do the holiday home lab thing again, and I hope you add a category for a best dumpster rescue like Chris's final prediction. My submission was the NAS I found in the street and fixed up. I find it extremely satisfying to breathe new life into parts others give up on. I know I'm not alone because you mentioned this theme a few times with other submissions, but there was no dedicated category for it. Did the Holiday Home Lab have something to do with that prediction?
You know, I felt the vibe coming actually, but the dumpster PC really was the definitive machine, right? We gotta pull that one up. There's a few we should pull back out
because that really stood out to all of us.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the definitive reviving. And making it into a home lab machine too is just so good. Nice to hear from you, Marcel, and thank you for your submission, and also thank you for the signal on the home lab episode. Hey, Gene Bean's here with our Ducks 2,222 sats, and he says Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year to you, Gene. Nice to hear from you.
And happy new membership.
Yes, enjoy.
Scuffed comes in with 4,576 sats.
All right.
You teased a Podverse rebuild last week. Can you tell us more?
Yes, I can. Very exciting news. In fact, Mitch, the lead developer, was just on the Podcasting 2.0 podcast for the most recent episode as of last Friday. So that would be what, Wes? That would be the 2nd. So Friday the 2nd of January, you can go hear about the new Podverse rebuild. It's really exciting. They do need some help with the mobile development if anybody is interested. But what I love about Podverse is that it's a GPL 3, I believe, it might be 2, but it's a GPL podcasting app. There's not a lot of those out there, and even fewer that support all the 2.0 standards, which are also open source. So it's really a nice combination. And Mitch has been working on this for a while. Podverse is also cross-platform, which makes it a little extra tricky. But it's pretty exciting to see it coming along. alpha.podverse.fm if you want to check it out. Hey, did we get more from Gene? Is Gene Bean back? Coming in hot?
Oh, okay. Yeah, now there's more Gene Bean.
Yeah, 10,345 sats. I loved hearing from Kent. Is there a way to easily convert other systems to Bcache-FS? That is something I want to do more of. I think you can convert Extended 4 and Butter, but I'm not positive about Butter.
Yeah, I actually have never converted one.
Yeah, I think we should try it. Gene also says, I noticed recently that my Raspberry Pi Home Assistant, it's Pi 4 with 4 gigs of RAM, was out of memory pretty often. So I upgraded to the Pi 5 with 8 gigs and was amazed at how good the restore from Nebuchadnezzar actually worked. It was super simple and everything came back as if nothing had changed. It was so slick. By the way, this boost amount is the Home Assistant port number, which is 8123.
Oh, that's nice. Good touch. And nice to hear the experience report that went well.
Yeah, the restore and backup features are kind of what make me want to use their whole Home Assistant package, because they really do that well. They do.
Dornail 7887 comes in with a Rodux. 100%. Signal is still the go-to cross-platform chat call app out there.
I saw a couple of plus ones to that. People still really love and trust Signal.
At least if you want to talk to our audience.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which you should want to.
All right.
Well, there's a dude trying stuff here with a row of ducks. Sadly, hardware shipping delays started piling up, and I was not able to make the deadline. Who knew rack nuts came in multiple sizes? Rest assured, I will link what the progress I've made in the new year. Really love the look at the community you all are consistently bringing together on the show. happy holidays.
Well, thank you.
Oh,
That's a nice thing to say.
Same to you.
Keep on trying stuff. Anonymous came in with 4,035 sats. Altitude boost. If you want to know exactly where I'm at, add the current hour in your time zone to 42.42 north and subtract an hour in my time zone from 23.33 east. Use the time of the boost to the 24-hour format. Extra points if you can pronounce the name of the place. Otherwise, Minimec might be able to help out. Hint. All right. Okay. So, did you catch all that?
Well, I do zip codes. I never signed up to be the altitude boost guy.
Come on. You can't figure that out? Come on.
Well, isn't Brent the altitude boost? He's always been.
No, these
that's
are
why we hired
coordinates.
him.
Wes. These are coordinates. So your little calculator on your map, that's exactly why you designed it.
I mean, why did we go and spend $5,000 on your fancy map if it can't do this? What was that money spent on?
Oh, well, that's because I own a piece of the company that makes them. So it's mostly kickbacks to me.
Do you need a map upgrade?
So, I mean, Minimec, did you catch this at all? He says, okay, so it's 4,035 sats, and it's an altitude boost. If you want to know exactly where I am at, add the current hour in your time zone to 42.20 north and subtract the hour in my time zone from 23.33 east and use the time of the boost 24-hour format. Extra points if you can pronounce the name of the place. You got any idea?
I think we have to take this as homework, maybe, and try to come back next week.
Do you think the machine could figure it out?
It's worth a shot.
Should I ask the machine? I mean, because
we'll probably get a wrong answer.
That feels like a roll of the dice. But
often when you optimize, you have to start with a bad guess, and then we'll get better guesses. We do have the time of the boost. I don't know if it's accurate, how accurate it is, but we have the Unix timestamp.
Right, but that would be the time it hit the node, not necessarily the exact time it was sent. But here, I'm going to try the machine. Okay, here's what it says. The clues kind of point to, oh boy, Zurich, Switzerland. Zurich, which is roughly pronounced Tsukurik. Turisica.
You mean Zurich?
Well, it says Tsurik is what it
You're
says.
almost there. Keep trying.
Tsurik is how it says it's pronounced. It's TSOO-RIKH is how you pronounce it. And it's got some information about umlauts, but that's lost on me.
Just say Zurich like a normal person.
Well, it says to Zurich is how you're supposed to say it. Not Zurich, but I don't know if that's right or not. There you go. That's my guess based on what the machine told me. But that's a pretty big roll of the dice.
We're going to have to, this is impressive. We're going to have to tool up so we can handle these more.
Yeah, clearly. All right. Well,
I'm thinking like a big 3D globe sort of.
Oh my. Yes. Yes. With like things we can project onto it.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Spin it around and zoom in, zoom out.
There's got to be a movie set somewhere where we could get that from, like a war planning movie set.
When you unfold that, Wes, does it sound differently?
Oh, yeah. It's more like an EV kind of sound,
All right, let's round it out with Moonanite.
It's over 9,000!
10,101 sats. My prediction for 2026 of the Linux adoption on the desktop goes exponential. Thanks to Steam machines and gamers overall getting sick of Windows. 6% of Linux users are on Steam now, according to their own metrics. I'll say it's double what it is today.
Ooh. Well, I hope that happens.
I hope so. I do feel like there is more I think I discounted the Windows dissatisfaction more than I should have. So there is that. I hope you're right, Moonanite. I hope you're right. All right, I'll take this last one just to finish us up here. Are you ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Starfleet Computer Scientists boosts in with 17,514 sats.
Thank you for helping us help you help us all.
And this was also their first boost ever.
Aww,
congratulations.
Nice. Welcome to the club.
Thank you for getting that set up. That is not a small task, and we appreciate you doing that.
You're doing very well.
They write, long-time listener, first-time booster. I listened back in last and the faux show, and of course, Beer's Tasty Days. Rediscovered Linux Unplugged about a year ago. Became a core contributor this year, and after decades of using Linux on a secondary machine, finally made the switch on my primary one. Keep up the great work. I don't know if this is a thing, but please accept this as an Enterprise D boost.
Nice.
1704. Aha!
Make it so.
It's absolutely a thing.
Nicely done.
See, I can take those too, that kind of boost where I can easily process.
Yeah. Well, you coming in strong with your first boost. Speaking to our Star Trek love. And also thank you for the long time. Listen, I'm glad you're back on board. I think, once you're over a year, you're no longer a noob. I think, did we decide that? Just over a year is no longer a noob. This was a banger. We combined some boosts from this week and the week when we were off. So that's why there was a lot and a mini boost to get through this week. So next week will probably be a little tighter and shorter. So if you would like to support us, it would be a great week to step up. We had 22 people stream sats as they listened to us. Look at these maniacs here. Thank you very much. They just put it on autopilot, and collectively they stacked 34,665 sats. Not too bad at all. Thank you, everyone. When you combine that with our boosters, this episode 648, stacked a grand total of 720.
You got to go farther. Sorry.
I got to go down further. You're right, because we have the combo from the previous week. Right. So we actually stacked more than that. Thank you, Wes. Good catch. We stacked a grand total for both episodes of 1,826,819 sats. Wow. Thank you, everyone, very much. That's incredible. And that matters more than you might know, because those of you paying attention might know that it is the beginning of the new year. Our sponsorship contracts are under renegotiation. We don't have a full boat at all. And so the memberships and the boosts actually make all of the difference right now. Not just a little bit, not some of the difference, all of it. So thank you, everyone who supported this episode. You literally made it possible, either through a membership or a boost. And it means a lot to us, because we love doing this, and we want to show up every single week and keep making Linux Unplugged for you. We really do appreciate it. All right, I got a couple of picks that are going to be kind of obvious why I'm including them this week. They are on theme. First two I'll get through pretty quickly in case you don't care about. They are two different options for figuring out MQTT. If you're new to MQTT and you don't know really what it is and what it does, these are toolboxes that will let you listen in to a topic from MQTT and see it come in either through like a messaging style, and you get a real visceral understanding of what the message queue is and how it's what it's sending back and forth. And so the two I'm going to talk about is MQTTX, which is kind of like an all-in-one app. It's a little bit bigger. And then the other one is MQTT5 Explore. And this is a little tighter. This one is GPL licensed. The other is Apache licensed. They're both available on FlatHub and packaged for Linux. And they make it really easy to connect to an MQTT server or a client and observe the topics it's sending and understand what they are. And from that, you could write scripts. You could just learn. It's really nice.
Now, I haven't tried either of these, but I do notice that MQTT5 Explorer has the Arch Linux logo in their README. So that's a
good sign.
Yeah, good sign.
I'd say it's the most the MQTT5 Explorer is the most native desktop app, and MQTTX is a cross-platform Electron app that works on Linux, Windows, web, Mac OS. It can run in a Docker container. So it sort of depends on what you're trying to accomplish. And they just make understanding what the hell this is that you're trying to set up a lot simpler. And it's a nice way to demystify something that was a little opaque to me.
I noticed you're not calling it MQT?
Yeah, should have. Now, a couple of others for those of you that don't care about MQTT. This is something that you'll see different commercial Electron apps take a crack at, so it's nice to see a GPL version of this. It's called Unify. It's what you could consider a web app aggregator. Now, this one is built in Qt and Qt 6. It uses Web Engine and Karigami to organize different web-based services into workspaces and open each in its own web view with desktop-friendly integrations like notifications and whatnot. So, just relegate all of your web-based style Electron apps to one master app that keeps them all organized. We've seen other takes on this, commercial ones at that. But this one's all based on modern KDE platform technologies, and it's GPL3. So that's Unify. Don't confuse it with other things named Unify. And that one is Qt-based. Now, if you're more of a GTK person, then there is Web App Hub. Web App Manager or whatever, it's labeled both things. It's written in Rust. And GTK. And it's designed in NVIDIA. And it's a Web Hub app manager, just like the Unify application, to do essentially the same thing, but do it in a GTK first world. And it gives you easy browser switching. It makes it super easy to manage and isolate apps into their own things. It can go pull their web icons for you. It can do custom browser profile configs to launch that app. It's more than just containing all in one app. It's kind of a little bit more than that. And it more integrates with the GNOME desktop. So it kind of depends what you're looking for. But myself, So many dang things are web-based now. I mean, on this machine right here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pinned web apps. I have 11 pinned tabs for different web apps I need to manage the live stream and the recording of this episode. Those are just 11 different web-based applications, and they're all running under the Firefox process. I get a little skeeved out by that. I would like to have something else separate, so that way if my browser crashes, like this morning Brent went to help about and his browser crashed, well then 11 of my apps I use to manage this stream and this show would be
destroyed.
Gone. So I like to separate it out into its own process, and there used to be a lot of ways. I mean, hell, browsers used to have some of this crap built in for a while.
Yeah.
God, that was nice. And then there was other things like Natify and other things that came along for the Linux desktop, but then they faded. So now it's nice to see these two, both for Plasma desktops or GNOME desktops, whatever your flavor is.
Rust, C++, take your pick.
Pick your pick. Both open source, both available on the FlatHub or probably packaged in a distro near you. So enjoy it. And then, of course, the MQTT apps. In fact, everything we talked about today will be linked at linuxunplugged.com/648. And you know, Wes, it's possible we mentioned something that they'd like to catch again, would like to look up the name of something. We have a power tip for them, don't we?
Oh, yeah. Well, we have a website. Is that what you mean? Like a community-powered,
I don't know.
open source,
I feel like
Hugo website?
There's probably, you could do that. There's probably even a way to get like more rich metadata from the podcast app itself.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, we do have HTML descriptions in the feed.
Sure. No, I'm not.
With all the links in it.
No, and tags. We've got a great set of tags. But no, I'm thinking more, Wes. Like, could they get even richer context? They could even plug into like language models and things like that. Is there more they could get?
Oh, you're thinking like cloud chapters and transcripts.
You got it, buddy.
You're thinking VTT files, SRTs.
You got it. Maybe even speaker diarization if we could. All of it in there. More and more apps, even Apple Podcasts now support all of that. And of course, the Podcasting 2.0 apps, which over at podcastapps.com have been supporting it for years. And it's nice to see that standard spread. And then, of course, one other thing you should know about our gosh darn live stream.
See you next week. Same bad time, same bad station.
Make it a Tuesday on a Sunday. Join us over at jblive.tv, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Of course, in your local time zone at jupiterbroadcasting.com/calendar. We got our low latency Opus mumble room going, whatever you want to call it. It's a mumble room. It's a live stream, but it's a mumble room. You can catch that. You can join our chat room, or don't worry about it. Become a member and get the bootleg, and we'll deliver it to you all processed and ready to go so you don't miss a single thing. Last but not least, tell a friend. It's a great way to support the podcast just right there. Just tell somebody about the show. It's the #1 way people learn about new podcasts. So we really appreciate that too. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Your Unplugged program. We'll see you right back here next Sunday. Okay, that's it from us. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. And Brent Lee, you can hit all stop there, sir.